Welcome back to Separate Bathrooms while Cam and I are having a little summer break.
Oh, how good's the beach? How good is the water?
We have thrown together the best of, and this one's all about therapy. And we have some snippets from some of our couples and talking about therapy, how therapy has really changed their life and their marriage.
Yeah, it's funny when you say the word therapy. My back muscles tend to go a little bit tighter.
Really?
Yeah, they do.
Wow.
Now, we've had over 20 years of therapy.
Yeah.
We would not be together without...
Is it that much? Not that much.
Honey,
Maybe it was that much.
We
yeah.
ticked over 30 years of marriage. Let's say the first 10 years we didn't have therapy.
True.
So I'm doing the math there.
Yep.
But it's still, I'd be honest with you, there's still a little twinge about the word therapy. So I think we would call it I would call it marriage counselling. Just assistance. It's okay to get assistance. And from these excerpts from potties that we've done earlier in the year, most of our couples have done it.
Yeah.
They use it.
And even the ones that have just met have done it. That's what I loved hearing. The new couples, the couples that have been together, they've used the therapy, counselling, however you want to say it, because it doesn't give me tingles up my spine either way, is they've used it just to keep tending the marriage, and I think that that's such a beautiful way to put time well spent into a relationship.
Yes, because we do tend to our bellies, don't we, with our food and our exercise.
Yeah.
Why not do it with a relationship as well?
Yeah. I hope you really enjoy these snippets as much as we love talking to these couples. First one, Julia Morris and Dan Thomas. Let's listen to this one.
The psychology part of it, do you guys sit in that together or are they separate sessions?
Separate sessions, but I reckon about once every, how often do you reckon? About once every...
Once or twice a day.
I was going to say, once a year, we obviously both get to top up point with each other where we're like, okay, not just separate bathrooms, but like, do we need to rent? Now it's 2 flats.
Different countries.
And then the
Different
admin
countries.
of trying to, thinking about, God, do you sell the house? How do you do? Where are we up to? Do you really want to? Are you just dealing with someone else's shit if you go out into the world and choose somebody else to start a new life with, and you're kind of like, oh, aren't I going to take all of my shit to that location?
Yeah.
Should we just try and work on this shit here?
Yeah.
Because when there's lots of good stuff, it goes invisible when you're in your corners,
Yeah.
And that, I think in the lockdown, certainly in the last 12 months, and the frustration of not knowing what last year was about and 33 weeks in the home together, I think
we thought we'll get through this by doing a really intense project together. That will make
That's going to
things
help everything.
That's going to help everything. That makes things much more relaxed.
My main question was, why am I not on the couch? When we lived in Los Angeles, we went to see this woman called the Velvet Hammer. And she was an amazing marriage counsellor, because at that time, we definitely get into periods of time where we are like in our corners, I think it's called.
Okay.
And so each time we come back together to try and come together to fix that, most of the time it's one worried about the other and then, getting it wrong, and it manifests itself as fury. And so there is a lot of that. You don't talk much about the good times, like we just spent all Sunday laughing. It was the best.
Yeah.
But you do tend to over talk, when things aren't suiting you.
You mentioned the Velvet Hammer, which kind of sounds like some exotic dancing room that
It does.
you can mud wrestle at.
She was not mucking around, was she?
Yeah.
So I remember her saying, because I tend to be quite relaxed in my approach to life, and Dan's very definite about his approach to life. So she was like, Dan, you loosen the noose, and Julia, you could actually turn up a bit more.
I love that you guys have seen a therapist. Do you find that a lot of people are surprised by that? I mean, Australia's coming around to therapy, but do people still kind of get a little bit surprised that you actually go see a therapist?
I'm a big fan of telling everyone everything, because I like to flush out the dark corners where I'm thinking, if loads more people saw a psychologist, everyone will be a little bit more chill because it's not about what the world's doing to you or what your partner's doing to you, what the kids are doing to you. It's what you're doing to yourself, what you're allowing and where your boundaries are. And so the more you can kind of get to know your downsides, the things that make you annoying to everybody else, then you can at least try and turn the volume down on those. Or, you definitely have to take stock once every 12 months and have a bit of a good long hard look at yourself, because you sort of get into a pattern of behaving or a pattern of talking to each other in a certain way, and you can go too far down the line where it cannot be resuscitated.
Yeah. And also understanding that you're the only thing in your world that you can change
and control
or control or have any meaningful impact on, like you nobody can change their partner, except in our case where I will try and change and improve you to the minute one of us dies.
How much better I am.
One of us wins the war of marriage.
So I learned to transfer my need to change and mold Alison to my mistress called golf. And I have a golf ball that I try and manipulate and
that bitch.
And change.
I like it.
And I
She
spend a
loves
lot
a
of time
walk.
with her, and we were up at 2:00 the other morning having a very interesting conversation
the
about.
thing is, when you're out with her, you've got your own bunker.
I can grab her by the shaft, and it's no problem.
Balls and all sorts of. That's too much sexual innuendo that we.
And now you're
we've tried.
now you're happily failing to change your golf ball.
Now we've got a classic story from Jock and Lauren Zonfrillo.
You know how people think that you do therapy when things are bad? And I kind of look at, I was doing therapy for a few years leading into meeting Jock, and then probably a year into being with Jock, probably even longer actually. And my mentality around it was always, yes, of course, I went there because things were bad and I was trying to work some stuff out myself. But then where I got to was that, I wanted to be Olympic at relationships and friendships. So you don't win a gold medal with your coach, and then when you're standing on the podium, you fire them because you've made it. You don't need any more help. So I see therapy as helping you get to the podium and then you stick with it because now you've done the hard work. Now there's a level of maintenance that happens there. Yeah. So we don't see anyone, and it hasn't even been a point of conversation for us. But I also think there's definitely some value in going, while things are good, that is a good time to just maintain that. And our relationship, and I doubt I'm saying anything different to say you guys are other married couples, but it is so critically important to us that Jock and I are connected in every way, that we sit at the centre of our families, we sit at the centre of our businesses, and we have to be rock solid, and we want to create happy places. And if that's home or work, that's really important to us. And we know that the knock-on effect of us being unhappy at home is quite detrimental. Yeah. Kids are very, very intelligent little things, and they pick up on vibes. And if you've got the wrong vibe, you can dress it up with, everything's fine. Mm-hmm. They know it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And then the home starts not being happy, and then that keeps knocking on. It snowballs. Yeah. Well, so we are very focused on clearing things. Like, we've got someone living with us at the moment, one of our mates' daughters who's 25, and we had like a bit of an argy-bargy the other night. I wasn't very happy with something that Jock had done, and she'd only been with us a few nights, and she was like, whoa, Mum and Dad are fighting. And it was a pretty good argy-bargy, like some firm words to each other. And then she said it was really weird. Then like a couple of minutes later, you were curled up cuddling on the couch and talking like it never happened. And she was like, I just haven't seen that before. And I'm like, we've been working on recovery of disagreements because we have to, because we work and live together. Yeah. So if you can recover from that quicker, then you've got strength in that. And so that's what we focus on. And I think as we probably had the challenge of 2 young children and all the bits that come with that, of being pregnant and uncomfortable, and, Jock having to do a lot of lifting around the house because I'm breastfeeding for an hour at a time and all the stuff. So we've definitely probably had, I think, some really potentially challenging years of our marriage, but they don't feel challenging. Like they're obviously very rewarding because we've got beautiful, beautiful family. But I think there's definitely something in knowing that the challenges, we survived them, and there'll be many more, so many more. But these ones are hard, having newborns and young children in the house, they push you in areas you didn't even know existed.
Yeah. Here's a story that we just love from David and Lisa Campbell.
We did couples therapy early on in our relationship, just because it was a lot of pressure. I mean, I wasn't really emotionally ready for, being in the one relationship. And Lisa had come over to Australia and went, here's everything. This is it now. And so just to sort of get through that, we did couples therapy in the first year. And that was really invaluable because it taught us how to argue and how to argue without going to. So my family are all tribal and just I'll end it, boom, and it's, it's everything's that you just hit the big red button and just go nuclear. And
my family are all, okay, well, I want to argue about any point with you and I want to debate you on it.
And I want to win.
And I will, whatever it is, let's have a fight about it. I'll even take the wrong side because I just want to argue.
Yeah.
So that was they're just the worst.
The first year was so great and so passionate. We had so much good time, but it was also we had the biggest barneys. And it was how are we going to get through this? And we finally did this couples therapy together and it was really constructive.
And both of us have done a lot of therapy individually as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'd done this couples therapy. And at the end of the couples therapy, our therapist, she was a lovely woman. And she was like, well, I think you guys have done really well. And thank you for coming in. And I'm like, I don't think I'm done. So if she can go, I'll just stay on. And I kept going. And so, but it was really just being open with each other, I think, is the key.
One of my favourite chats this year was with Tammin Sursok and husband Sean McEwen. Here they are talking about the virtues of marriage counselling. Were you getting therapy in Australia or did that wait till you got to Hollywood?
No, America is very pro-therapy, and I actually think it should be. I think there's a stigma a little bit here in Australia for some reason, maybe less so now. I find working out is really good for your physical body, so why aren't we working out our minds as well? It doesn't mean you go to therapy because you've hit rock bottom. Every now and then we go once a month because it keeps our relationship really solid. It's instead of just fighting and blaming and name calling, we're able to talk to someone and find tools and have strategies that we can actually have a really healthy relationship. And I believe therapy is also, you can have a really healthy relationship with yourself, but you can't if you just keep falling on triggers and trauma. And we've all got it, right? Every parents, we screw up our kids, they screw up their kids. And it's we try to do better each time we try to do better, and hopefully our kids will do better than we did. But everyone's got that. So it's you don't know why you keep self-sabotaging yourself. And I think therapy is great.
Such a fun couple. Here's Maddy Tyers and Jimmy Eaton.
Understanding what people are going through and discovering that not everyone's exactly the same as you and how you process things, I think is so helpful. Maddy and I have even done marriage counselling, which we found really helpful. And it wasn't because we were in a crisis, which was kind of weird. We just kind of went, our marriage is going really good, but there's some certain things that I think we'd love to address. Why don't we just see a counsellor and have a chat so we can have this sort of discussion and learn these things through a counsellor? And it's been great. And I think a lot of people are I think we told some friends, we went to marriage counselling. They're like, oh my God, are you guys okay?
Yeah.
If you need any help, it's no, we're great. We're great. And I think that's what's so wonderful about marriage counselling and counselling in general is just being able to talk to someone who doesn't have that bias inbuilt is just so helpful. And I think now we know the signs. I know I've got my list of things when Maddy's, going really stressed out. I know what helps and what I thought helped but doesn't necessarily.
We're still working that out for both of us at times as well.
We're pretty close to perfect though.
Yeah. We've had 30 years and we're still figuring it out.
Oh,
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
What?
Definitely.
You haven't won marriage after 30 years? You haven't completed it?
No, we've actually been married twice.
I love that. Double the fun, guys.
And lots of therapy.
Were you surprised that so many of our couples use therapy?
Yes and no. I'm delighted, actually, more than anything, that they use therapy.
Yeah.
I think it's just a great tool. I know how much it's helped us, clearly those couples that we heard from. You know, it's just a great tool for relationship building.
And it's becoming more accessible too. There's
Yep.
some great therapists out there. So use them. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Our kids are better off for our therapy.
Yeah.
Our kids do better.
Yeah.
I've become a better dad
Yeah.
from therapy, as well as a better hubby and son.
Yeah.
Son to my parents,
Yeah.
brother.
All of that, for
Yeah.
sure. Same
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
There you go. Enjoy summer. If you're looking for more podcasts to listen to, check out Nova Podcasts Official. There's tons of great stuff to listen to while you're lying on the beach, going for those afternoon walks, smelling those summer flowers, drinking those cool drinks at the end of the day.
Getting out of the summer rain.
Summer rain. Oh, she comes, she goes like summer rain.
Thanks for listening,
Yeah,
everyone.
have a great day.